Hello, vac fans. Let's take a look at graphs. Don't you just love looking at graphs? Of my baking soda tests I did several months ago, and I did all 7 of my Bagless machines. So these machines are in order of worst to best. So starting at the bottom is a Dyson DC65. If you take a look at this chart, if you haven't seen the videos, please take a look at my baking soda test playlist. And you see that I start here at 10 passes, and I dump the bin and I take a reading. So that means 80 millimeters out of 200 recovered in 10 passes. Now if you're crazy enough to redo this test, like I am here at VacLab, you'll do 20 passes, 30 passes, all the way up to 60 passes, and hopefully you won't fall asleep. And you'll get a curve like this. So what this curve means is, after 10 passes, it has a little less than half. See, half would be about 100. And after 60 passes, it has about 150, so that's about 75% after 60 passes. And yeah, that means that there's a little bit left still in the medium pile flow-through Mohawk carpet. That's how all these tests perform. These tests are not hard floor tests. This is medium pile carpet test like you see in the videos. Alright, so that's the DC65. Let's move on to the next one. And we have a Hoover WindTunnel 2. These two lines, these two curves, are pretty much the same. There's just not any real appreciable difference. But there's a huge difference in the price of a WindTunnel 2. That's the sub $100 one when you see it on sale. And this one, when it came out in 2015, was like $700. In 2015, I saw this one on sale for less than $100, like say maybe $75 or so. So a difference of about 10 to 1, and yet the performance pretty much about the same. And if you want to say, hey look, nobody's going to do 10 passes, that's forward and back, or 20 passes, or certainly 60, they're going to do like 1 or 2. Yeah, I know. But the vast majority of testing bodies out there don't do 1 or 2 passes with fine dust and then go take a reading. They usually do at least 10, some maybe I hear 15 or 20. It's something right around in here, and you can see why. See the curves? You have this tremendous uptake, right? Look at the slope, and then it starts leveling off. All right, so let's go to machine number 3. Dyson DC25. The older DC25 does a lot better with baking soda in a medium pile carpet than its newer DC65 brother. So look at the difference between here, this purple line compared to the blue line. DC65 starts out at 80 after 10 passes, this one's 120. The DC25 picks up, baking soda wise, 50% more in the same number of passes. Picks up fairly quickly and then starts to level off. So you don't really gain much from, say, about 30 passes on. Alright, let's go on to the next one. And we have a Dyson DC14. One of the oldest Dysons out there, certainly sold in the US. A very wacky brush roll. But it does a great job, relatively speaking. Look at that purple line right there. It's a little bit less here, ties about here after 20 passes, and beats it for the first 10 passes. About say maybe 110 or so pick up to 120. All right, let's go on to the next one. A Hoover WindTunnel Max. Something it actually does very well with. It has a very aggressive brush roll, has very high suction, and this green line is definitely north of anything else underneath it. That's tremendous. That's the best one so far. And here we've talked about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 2 more to go, 7 total. So let's go on to the next one. Yep, my least expensive Bissell PowerForce Compact. It has an unbelievably aggressive brush roll. Spins like you wouldn't believe. A lot of bristles, very short, very stiff. But has a very tiny nozzle that is very dense CFM. What little CFM it has, like say 39, its CFM density is, relatively speaking, very high, especially since the nozzle opening is very tiny. And boy, does it ever pick up baking soda well from medium pile carpet. But you can see, once you get much more than 20 passes, and I understand nobody's going to do 20 passes unless you're a complete nut job like I am here at VacLab. You see, if you go beyond that, this curve is essentially flat. So it's useless pretty much beyond 20 passes, but you pick up an awful lot. 170 out of 200. All right, here comes the crowning king. Yep, a Shark NV22. Incredible. I think this is the original Shark, or it's the earliest one that I've ever come across. Dark blue line. Starts a little bit better than certainly the Bissell, but that's amazing, and a lot better than, say, the guys down here, Dyson and Hoover, and does a tremendous job up to maybe about 30 passes or so, and then completely levels off. But if you look at 60 passes, and I don't know who's going to ever do this 60 passes, you're probably going to hurt the carpet doing 60 passes in one spot. But you can get like 90 some odd % plus. Like this would be 95%, 190 out of 200, if you keep at it for 60 passes. So, to recap, the Shark wins this round. I only have 7 Bagless machines. I'll probably end up getting a few more. But what you may think does well doesn't necessarily do that well. And something that you would think do poorly, it could possibly do poorly, could do very well, like this PowerForce Compact. And yes, for some of these tests, I did actually repeat them for ones I was very suspicious of, especially the Bissell. I'm like, how can it do that? And maybe even the Shark. And yeah, they actually do this. So again, all these are baking soda, 200 millimeter recovery on a medium pile Mohawk flow-through carpet. So this is not bare floor tests. And this has really been a lot of fun. It's taken me a long time to put this together. And I hope that you enjoyed watching this playlist. Okay, just to recap, for the baking soda recovery tests, in last place, the Dyson DC65. Very similar to last place, the Hoover WindTunnel 2. Definitely better, a DC25. And then a 14. Yeah, it's funny. The older one does better, at least with baking soda. WindTunnel Max actually does max with something. Baking soda, that's fantastic, at least in my medium pile. The unbelievably, fantastically good and cheap Bissell PowerForce. And the #1 crown jewel, I can't believe it, the original Shark. That's absolutely fantastic. Pulling just about double of a DC65 in the first 10 passes. Let's give it up for Shark. Yay! Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.